Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. It is Mike's Talks and Thoughts here. Back again with another video for you guys, and today I'm going to be giving my thoughts on my top 10 pilots. Now I have already done a video on my top 10 finales. I will leave that link in the description below so you guys can compare and contrast which I think were the best at the start and which I thought were the best when they finished. But yeah, now, of course, I have not seen every single pilot out there, every show. So these are just going to be ones that I've personally seen up until this point. But I think this list is really good. I like all of these pilot episodes. So yeah, let's get into it. So starting here at number 10, we have 13 Reasons Why. Now, 13 Reasons Why had a really good first season, and it definitely tailed off towards the later end. But that first season, the pilot is so interesting. You know, you find out what happens right in the first episode, and you find these tapes that, of course, Hannah made, and you start learning a little bit more about these characters. You know about Clay and Justin. Those are mainly the main two you get to see. You see Clay and his parents. And it's a really nice introduction to what's going to be following in the following episodes. It just keeps you hooked and makes you want to watch more. So yeah, number 10 is going to be 13 Reasons Why. Number 9 on my list, I have Freaks and Geeks. Now, this is just a very solid pilot episode. Of course, you get to learn about Lindsay and Sam and their dilemmas with their two groups. You know, Lindsay is still kind of in that phase where she's still a goody two-shoes, but she's trying to be involved more with the freaks. And then, of course, you have Sam, who you learn early on, you know, Sam is getting bullied by these kids, and Lindsay kind of stands up for him, but Sam kind of doesn't want that, but kind of needs it. And I really like how they ended off on a nice dance. You know, Sam is trying to ask out this girl, Cindy, and goes there and gets his dance with her, and then Lindsay goes with the guy who, you know, people were kind of making fun of him, and he ended up breaking his arm. But she kind of got talked into it by a teacher, and she felt really good afterwards that she was able to do that. And I love the end scene with them dancing to Come Sail Away by Styx. Great song. So yeah, coming in at number 9 is Freaks and Geeks. Coming in here at number 8, we have Malcolm in the Middle. And this, again, is just another great pilot. You know, Malcolm is a great character, great introduction to a character. You get to learn more about his family. Of course, you see the scenes with Francis and why he's sent off to military school. You see Reese and Dewey. Dewey is so young in this. He's like maybe 6 or 7 years old. And it's really great how you go to school and see Malcolm and his friends, and you learn that Malcolm is, you know, a genius, and he takes these tests, but he like doesn't want to be a part of that. He wants to just be normal, but when they give him these tests to take and they find out that he's a genius, he gets really upset about that, but then eventually, you know, learns to accept that. And of course, you see a lot of great characters along the way. I just feel like it's a great introduction to Malcolm and his family, and it comes in at number 8 on my list. Coming in here at number 7, of course, one of my favorite sitcoms, How I Met Your Mother. Of course, I love everything How I Met Your Mother, and this pilot episode knocks it out of the park. I love when you first see Jason Segel on the floor saying, "Will you marry me?" And then Josh Radnor, Ted, of course, says, "Perfect. That's how you propose to her." And then, of course, you get I kind of see with Ted and Barney when Ted sees Robin, and he's like nervous to talk to her at first, but then Barney sets him up. "Hey, have you met Ted?" And then they start talking, and then it basically follows Ted's dilemma with Robin. You know, they finally get together, but then he messes up by telling her that he loves her. Classic Schmosby. And it's pretty much just that throughout the episode, just him trying to fix what his problem was. And it sets it up for what's going to happen in the following episode with him trying to impress Robin, which of course happens in the following episode with the purple giraffe. So coming in at number 7 is How I Met Your Mother. Now coming in here at number 6, a show that I really don't get to talk a lot about on my channel, but I definitely want to more, is going to be a classic show from my childhood, and that is going to be Ned's Declassified at number 6 here from my pilots list. This is just a great introduction pilot. You know, they're starting middle school, and it's kind of broken off into 2 episodes. First, it starts off with like the class scheduling, where they find out that Cookie and Ned don't all have the same classes, and Cookie and Ned try and get Mose to take the same classes as them, but she doesn't want to, and then they try and rig the schedule, and it ends up not working out for them. They find out that she was in a life science or a life class where they had to take care of a baby, and then they were in woodshop, and they accidentally flip them both. So Ned and Cookie get stuck in the baby class, and Mose gets put in woodshop. So that was great. And then the next one is lockers. This, of course, finding the locker, finding the right locker for you, and decorating your locker. And then Ned, of course, has to deal with Timmy Tutu and finding someone who can replace him as Timmy's locker buddy. So you eventually find out, of course, that Lisa Zemo takes that spot. So coming here at number 6, Ned's Declassified, just a great, great, heartfelt pilot episode. Coming in here at number 5, we have Stranger Things. Again, one of my favorite shows of all time, and this is just a great pilot that really introduces us into the world. Of course, you start off with the group, Mike, Lucas, Dustin, and Will, all playing D&D, and then, of course, you find out that Will goes missing on his ride home, and they're all kind of trying to look for him. And then you also have the scene with Eleven at the diner where she runs away, and Benny is trying to figure out like what this girl is doing here. Did she run away? Is she abandoned? And it definitely sets us up for that storyline with Eleven trying to get away from the bad guys. And I think it's just a great feel. Of course, they start off strong with the 80s feel of Stranger Things. It takes place in the 80s, so just great to see. Coming in here at number 4, we have Dexter. Tonight's the night, and it's going to keep happening again and again. Great opening line, of course, for Dexter. Just absolutely love this pilot. It's so great. Like, literally the first thing you see is, him kind of trying to search out Miami, and he finds this guy who was doing stuff with kids, and he ends up taking him to a room, and he is, open your eyes and look at what you did. And then he ends up killing him. That's his first victim that we see in the series. Of course, we know he's been doing this before, but that's the first victim you see. And then you learn about the ice truck killer, of course, makes his first sort of appearance here. You see the first body, and Dexter's trying to figure it out. And then you learn about Deb, how she's in Vice, and she wants to get moved over to Homicide, and be a detective over there. You find out about Dexter and Rita's relationship a little bit at the start, and it ends off with the toy that is in Dexter's fridge, and of course knows that this killer who is out there is connecting back with him. He's like, do you want to play? And yes, I want to play. Just great. Love that pilot episode. Coming in here at number 3, we have Sons of Anarchy. Sons of Anarchy, one of my favorite endings and pilot episodes now. Both came in at number 3 on both my lists, so that was very ironic. But Sons of Anarchy, what a kick-ass way to start off a pilot. So, of course, you find out about the MC, with Clay, Jax, and all the other members of Sam Crow. You learn about, Jax's baby, that Wendy, of course, almost OD'd and is in the hospital, and you have Tara there. You kind of see her a little bit. That's kind of the makings of the start, and you find out, of course, that one of their gun locations where they were storing guns gets destroyed, and leaves some evidence there that they need to handle. And then at the very end, the Mayans, who they were enemies with, they have a great kind of a shootout, sorta, or a battle, and it's just so great. Clay, Jax, and the rest of the MC invading the Mayans' territory and sort of leaving a message for them. So it was just a great episode that wanted me to keep watching more. Coming in here at number 2, we have 6 Feet Under. Now, this was a pilot that just really shocked me because I actually did not read up on this pilot at all beforehand. So when I saw this shocking moment in the pilot, I was like, wow, I did not expect that to happen. But of course, it's a show about death, so there's got to be a death in the pilot. And of course, it is the Fisher father, Nathaniel Fisher, gets killed in a car crash in the first episode. And you see the makings of how each family member is kind of working and grieving through their way in the story. And I think it's just such a well done episode. Really introduced what this show is going to be about and the family really well. So coming in at number 2, 6 Feet Under. But coming in here at number 1 is going to be Prison Break. Now, I have talked about how I love this pilot in other videos on Nick's channel, but this one, just looking at all the shows that I've seen in pilots, I was like, this is my favorite pilot. I absolutely loved it. Of course, you find out about Lincoln and the conspiracy with him early on, that he thinks he got set up for killing the vice president's brother. And Michael Scofield, of course, gets himself incarcerated with his brother to try and break him out of prison. And the very end, I love when they're sitting down and Michael takes off his shirt and reveals that he has the blueprints of the prison tattooed on him. So that is one of the most iconic moments of the entire show, and just my favorite pilot. It got me so into wanting to get into more. The first season of Prison Break, one of the best seasons of TV ever made, and comes in here at number 1 on my TV pilots list. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and peace out.